Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. I've been digging into RollerCoin's Gold Season Pass, and honestly I was surprised by how much value it actually has. If you're thinking about getting it, or even if you're not, then this video might change your mind. Turns out with the right strategy, you can save a ton of Roller token, boost your mining power way faster, and get way more out of the pass than you would probably expect. I'll break it all down for you so you can follow up and optimize your account. In every season of RollerCoin, you will have a golden pass as well as a free pass. You will find quests here that you can do on the right side, and in almost all of the seasons by now you have included some of the set miners as well as every single miner 8 times, so that you in the long run will actually be able to merge them into a higher tier. Your season pass will look a little bit different because I already completed everything, and it took me a little less than 2 months by doing only the daily quests, and because of doing the daily quests I of course did all of the weekly quests here, and some days I of course could not do all of the daily stuff. But it is really important to note here that if you are purchasing the battle pass at the very beginning, that you will every single day have an extra quest. So it took me 50 days in total, and the extra quest alone gave me an average of 10 experience per day. So this is an extra 500 experience, and per level you need only 200. So if you do not have the battle pass from the very beginning, it will take you a couple days longer than this. So just keep that in mind by making the decision when the season is already ongoing, that if you don't have the season pass yet, it will take you longer, and if you already have it, then of course it will shorten the time you will need to complete it. So if you have anything less than 50 days standing here, it is very unlikely that you are actually going to be able to get all of the levels done, and then you would need to purchase the remaining level, and this will always cost you 10 roller token. Just keep that in mind, it can get really expensive. Last season, for example, I missed 14 levels because I was very late, so I needed to reinvest 140 roller token to get all of the 40 rewards. And this time, as you can see here, I don't need to spend anything. I can basically just claim the experience, and now I could technically claim our last reward down here. So now that we have a breakdown of how long it will take you to actually complete this, let's talk about the rewards. Those ones are changing every single season, and I'm going to compare this season to the last season, so you will have an idea of what you can expect for your $100 worth of roller token investment, and if it is actually worth it to think about buying it. Every season pass will cost you around 100 roller token, and in the last season I was able to get around 25k season tokens. This is gonna be really important later on, and because I had this amount of season tokens last season, I decided to purchase the lowest cost miner from the season store, which in this case was the crypto signal. And when you finish the entire pass, you got 8 copies of all of the season pass miners that you can see here on this side, and you were also able to afford the crypto signal 8 times at least. So if you would have completed everything, you would have ended up with 61.5p in mining power without including the bonus power. Keep in mind that you get the same miners 8 times, so the bonus power will not actually be accumulated on top of each other, because the same miners count only one time towards the bonus power. In this case, we had a set bonus of 7.3p in power from the pass, as well as 18% bonus power, and the actual miners only gave us 5.5% in bonus power. And now you already have 56 miners standing around, and the next step would be thinking about merging them. So I broke it down for you guys. If you get all of the miners, because you have them 8 times to level 4, then you will end up with 130p in base mining power, as well as 75% bonus power. So this is pretty huge, but of course this will cost you a lot of roller token. It's not free to merge stuff, so I went a step further and I broke down the actual cost, the total cost of strategy number 1, if you are including one of the season store miners, was actually also what I followed up on. So this is what I spent throughout the last season. We needed a lot of white parts, green parts and blue parts for merging the stuff. The white parts you can get from expeditions as well from the season store and the marketplace, and the estimated value for merging all of the miners to the next tiers in white parts was 181 roller token. Then we have the green parts. Those ones I mostly got from the merging quest for the puzzle event. This costed us another 215 roller token, and the blue parts I most of the time recommend only buying them from the marketplace. This costed us another 254 roller token to again get a base mining power of 130p and a percentage of bonus power of 75. So this was pretty huge at the cost of around 893 roller token in total. Of course, we have a merge fee that we need to keep in mind. So I added that on top of the cost for the parts. And this is really a lot of money, I would say. This is a lot of roller token. And you might be thinking that this is impossible. And I agree, it looks really impossible. And here comes the catch, guys. This is what I did, and I'm gonna tell you now what you should consider doing to not make the same mistake that I did. Because I was using the season tokens in a way that basically backfired on me, and I needed to work way more than I was supposed to. Technically, if you would purchase the cheapest season miner 8 times like I did up, then you will spend out of the 25k season token 14k of those into a single miner 8 times, which then later on you will need to merge. And we could actually reinvest those 14k season tokens into common part cases, where the lowest amount of parts that we could get is 175 per case and the highest is 600 per case. So if you would now purchase the miner from the season store 8 times like I did, then you have another 11k season tokens you can spend into parts, which will give you almost 50k parts. That costs like 116 roller token estimated. And if you just do not purchase anything else than parts from the season store, then you will be able to buy yourself 110k parts, which is an equivalent of almost 270 roller token, which then you could technically deduct from the cost that you see all the way up here. And then of course you would not need to merge the season store miner, because looking at it, this one was actually quite expensive to merge. So not only would you get more parts, but also you save the cost for merging a season store miner. And that leads us to the strategy number 2, where we are not purchasing the season store miners and we only invest into parts, so that we will have a little bit less mining power in total compared to strategy number 1. But the total cost of strategy number 1 will be almost 900 roller token. We will be able to purchase 116 roller token worth of parts. So we will need an extra almost 800 roller token to be able to complete strategy number 1. Meanwhile, strategy number 2 costs us only 642 roller token, and we will be able to purchase parts for almost 270 roller token. And this is the lowest amount that we can get. Remember, you can get way more parts than I actually calculate here. So the extra roller token needed for strategy number 2 will be around 380 roller token. And this is absolutely crazy, guys, because in the strategy number 1 that I was following in the last season, I did spend 800 roller token to get around 230p out of the season pass. And of course, this is the cost excluding the actual pass for 100 roller token. And if you would have followed strategy number 2 without the season miner, then you would have now a mining power of 170p, which is not that much less. It's only 50p difference, but you spend 250 roller token less. And don't forget that you can afford way more parts, so that the actual roller token that you will need to earn extra is way lower than in the strategy number 1. And to break it down even more, I was making the calculation down here. The estimated time it would take you to complete the pass, I did take from my experience, I took 50 days. That's how I came up with this number here. We need in strategy number 1, where we are purchasing the season miner, almost 800 roller token. And this is of course excluding the purchaser parts with the RST, but including the pass price of 100 roller token, so that we would now need to come up with a number of roller token we could make in 50 days, if that is our goal to complete all of this. If you also manage to get the pass done in 50 days, you will have 7 weeks worth of weekly quests and weekend quests, and this would accumulate to around 280 roller token if you are doing all of those quests, as well as an average of 2 roller token a day for a straight 50 days that you can get from daily quests. This would get you another 100 roller token, so you will end up in those 50 days getting 380 roller token. This is the bare minimum I estimated, because some days you make more roller token and of course some days you make a little bit less. So keeping that in mind, here we need another 400 roller token. We didn't afford the pass yet, and we need way longer than the 50 days to actually get this strategy done. Meanwhile, when we are just not purchasing the season store miner and reinvest everything into parts, then we would need way less roller token to begin with, and we would already after the 50 days days have 5 roller tokens spare and we can already afford the pass. So this is pretty awesome, and it gets even crazier, guys, because you will wait on the merging event that I didn't even know beforehand that it existed, because this will cut all of your part costs and merging fees into half, and then you will spend way less money for the same exact mining power. And now if you compare the numbers, this is absolute ridiculous actually. You save 397 roller token, and this is equivalent to what you needed here on top of the actual price to get strategy number 1 done in 50 days, which then would have given you 228p in mining power. And in strategy number 2 you will save 271 roller token. That means if you followed strategy number 2, you will already end up having 300 roller tokens saved, and you will have 173p in mining power compared to 228. So this is absolutely ridiculous, guys. So just for being consistent and not spending your money unwisely, you will now end up having all of this mining power and you have 300 roller tokens spare to spend into the next season. So this is ridiculous, and I'm going to blow your minds now, guys, because I broke down season 16 as well. I did the exact same thing that I did for season 15, so I included the lowest cost season store miner, the Snowblaster in this case, and at the end of season 16, if you finished everything and you just place them as they are into the room, you will end up with 126p in power and only 13% bonus power. So meanwhile in season 15 you got the 2 hamsters and only 61p in base mining power. Here you will not get a hamster, but you have double the amount of mining power. And then when you get all of the stuff to level 4, you will end up having 233p in base power and 56% bonus power, compared to only 130p here in season 15 and 75% bonus. So while you have hamsters here, you are only having half of the mining power, but a little bit more percentages. So I would say season 15 and season 16 battle pass is actually pretty equal for what you are spending here. But now of course we would need to break down the cost to get a better picture of it. Meanwhile, in season 15, you spend it around 900 roller token to merge everything into the highest tier that we are able to do. In season 16, this is a bit more expensive and you spend 1.1k, so you spend 200 roller token more. Of course, now I'm gonna break down the same thing what we did before. We will be able to get another 25k season tokens. This is the exact same outcome. We will again be able to purchase more parts. We will save a little bit less money this time because the season store miner on season 16 is a bit cheaper than the last one. And keeping all of this information in mind, we will now have in strategy number 2 for season 16 194p in base mining power as well as 49% bonus power, compared to 105p and 65% in season 15. And if we are now comparing the total cost of strategy number 1 where we purchase one of the season store miners, then this will cost us again 1.1k roller token. This is including 100 roller token for the pass, and we could again only afford 116 roller token worth of parts. And the extra roller token that we would need for strategy number 1 in season 16 is 1k roller token. This is ridiculous, but the total cost of strategy number 2 is only 865 roller token, and the lowest amount of parts we can afford again is 270 roller token, so that the extra roller token needed in this season would be 600 roller token. And to break it down, the outcome of both strategies: in strategy number 1, this time we will have 360p in mining power, and then we have strategy number 2 with 290p in mining power. So comparing that to the last season, we will end up having way more mining power, but we don't have the hamster. But let's be honest, guys, Gilly dies all the time anyways, so we don't need that hamster really. He's kinda useless. So I would prefer having the crazy bonus power of this pass. But of course, this comes at a very high cost. For strategy number 1 in season 16, you need almost 1000 roller token. I already excluded here the parts that we could purchase with season token, and I included the pass cost. So we will need around 980 roller token for this to get to almost 400p in power. And I calculated it again with these 7 weeks to just have it even on both sides. In this case, if we follow everything and we do all of the dailies and weekly stuff, then we will now need another 600 roller token on top of it to actually complete the pass. So the next season already will have started, and we are basically in debt now to our old season strategy. And then when you are going to strategy number 2 here down, you will actually end up needing another 218 roller token to get to 290p in mining power. But now it gets really interesting, guys, because even though this sounds expensive, if we now get a merging discount for this season again, then we will need only 100 extra roller token to be able to get to almost 400p in mining power. And of course, the season is not 50 days. We have a little bit longer time, so that technically, if you continue this for another 2 weeks, you will be able to have another 100 roller token. Then you will be able to afford strategy number 1 and get to almost 400p in mining power with only the season pass in around 2.5 months. So this is absolutely insane. And of course, if you would follow on strategy number 2, then you will spend a lot less and you will now even have money left again, and you are already at 300p in mining power. So this is really crazy. So as you can see, the actual value of the season pass is completely ridiculous, but it of course comes with a lot of effort, guys. And the moment you are deciding to purchase the season pass, this is what you can expect out of it. You will be able to get a lot of mining power and bonus percentage, but this is not free. You need to still do all of the weekly quests as well as all of the daily quests that you possibly can do. So even though you purchase the season pass for 100 roller token, you need to still work for the mining power it comes with. And then of course you would need to wait it out a tiny bit. You will need to be patient to wait on a merging event, otherwise you will end up spending hundreds of roller token more. And that's exactly what I did. So I hope that you can learn something out of my mistake, guys. You should not merge stuff apart from a merging event, and definitely you need to consider from the very beginning if or if not you want to purchase season store miners, or if you only purchase the parts. Make the decision upfront if you want to include one of those season store miners or if you don't, because this in the long run will cost you way more efforts. And I lost around 500 roller token worth of currency just because I didn't know about this. I hope this video will make your decision to purchase the season pass a little bit easier. As always, if you have questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I see you in the next one. Bye!